readers. My name is Luna and I'm here to present a very early stages beginner guide to tarot. So this is if you have just got a deck, or maybe you haven't even got a deck yet and you really want to know how to get started, the very first step, maybe even before buying a deck or receiving a deck. So there are 4 parts to this presentation. 1, why we read. 2, how to read. 3, the minor arcadia. And 4, the major arcadia. So we're going to go, this is just part 1, why we read. So what is the point of reading tarot in the first place? Okay, I've got my email address on that slide as well, so that you can email me with any questions or anything that you might like to know. Part 1, why do we read? We read for a whole different ideas, reasons, different things we want to gain. But the main reason that people read tarot is because they want guidance, or they want a message or something like that from another higher power or spirit or energy or guardians or whatever you want to call it, to help them through their day-to-day life. So in our everyday life, we come across challenges, we come across questions, we come across decisions that we need to make. And sometimes it's a really overwhelming situation to be in when you have a very challenging decision to make and you don't know which way leads on to which way and where you're going to end up and what's right and what's wrong. And in a situation like that, sometimes you just feel like you just need a little bit of guidance. You just need to get a sign. You know, have you ever been sitting there and you thought, oh, I just wish I had a sign of what I should be doing. I just feel lost. So when we read tarot, we're specifically asking for that sign from some power above us. So whether it's just an immediate, I need to pull a card this very moment and ask a yes or no question, or I need to do a full reading and set out the next 3 months of my life, anywhere from A to B, basically. So why do we read? Tarot cards are way more than just cards. They are a gateway to the spirit realm. Your ancestors are able to communicate with you through these cards. In this way, the cards are able to do 3 key things. So 1 is the daily pull. I'm going to be using the Modern Witches Tarot deck while I'm doing it because those are my favorite cards. So the daily pull is when you shuffle your cards like this and you pull the card that you need, the Knight of Swords. You look it up in your little booklet, Knight of Swords, and it gives you some sort of inclination of how your day might go, or what you need to be focusing on that day, or energies. For example, you know, if you're pulling something that's cups, it might be a very emotional day, or if you're pulling something that's swords, it might be a day focused on money. You know, it just gives you like a vibe for the day. So you can pick your daily pull of 1 tarot card and get a real gist for how your day is going to travel and what you should be paying attention to. So the next thing we do is we ask questions, number 2, and we pull cards. So we might say, oh, is it the right time to invest money? And we shuffle the cards. Or we might say, oh, should I continue this relationship that I'm in, or is the relationship coming to an end? And we shuffle the cards. When you're shuffling the cards, you can just really be thinking about the question, imagining the cards, understanding, connecting with the cards. And then you can either just choose a card, or you can, if a card flips out, then that's the card for you. So that's different ways that you can see what the cards have to say. The third way is to do a full reading. So that's laying out 3, 5, 7, 10 cards and actually reading them through. This is a bit more complicated because the cards also interact with each other. So this card next to that card will have some sort of relationship. So you have to kind of understand the cards on their own before you can progress to the next level of being able to read a full reading. And so that's why people can charge money for a full reading, because there's a bit of experience and a bit of knowledge that goes into learning how to do that. Okay, so the original deck, not my deck, the original deck is the Waite. So we'll have a look at that deck as well. Alright, so the history of tarot cards. So the precise history is unknown, but in 1781 it was written that tarot cards were derived from the ancient Egyptian book of Thoth. Thoth was the Egyptian Mercury, and he is known to be one of the people that invented the hieroglyphic system. And so that actually does make sense, because when you look at the cards, each card's image is a story within itself. You can pick up the energy or the meaning of the card through the images within it. And so I guess that's a similar system to Egyptian hieroglyphics. Giblin, who's a historical writer, asserts that it is from the Egyptians and the gypsies that the tarot cards were dispersed through Europe. And the story goes that playing cards were banned in Europe at one point. And so tarot cards were created to keep people using cards, because of the original deck of tarot cards were playing cards. So you had the four suits. You know, you might have had diamonds, which became pentacles or whatever, something like that. Okay, so the Waite is the classic tarot, best known. It is a very symbolic set, so the images are very meaningful. So it was invented by Arthur Edward Waite in 1857 to 1942. He was a scholar of occultism and had many published works, including the Kabbalah and a book on how to read tarot, which was published in England in 1910. So his quote is, "The true tarot is symbolism." So you have to really pay attention to the images. All right, so that's a little bit of the history of tarot and how they came to be and why we read. So that's just the first little starting. So the second one we're about to do is how to read. So grab your deck and come on an adventure with me for the next installment. Bye.